Hello. How are we doing? Let's scoot over here. Just try to get us on Instagram if I can. I'm not too sure because the was not plugged in. So that means we don't have any battery on our Instagram cam. But we'll see how that worked out. Okay, checking connection. We are now live on Instagram too. Hello everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We're on the Redesign with Prima Facebook and Instagram pages. I'm Cece from Cece Restyled. I'm a designer influencer for Redesign with Prima. And it's Thursday. We're a little late because we got a little baby girl with us. She had some fun big girl stuff which she had to do today. And so now that that is done and over with, we made it. We made it today. If you're hopping on, say hello and let me know where you're tuning in from. Today we're doing some fun things. You may or may not remember last week. Was it last week? Yeah, last week actually. We had to do our live at nighttime. It's always something, right? At noon. Noon is just not a great time for people with kids and businesses, I don't think. Noon is like it's the free-for-all time where everything happens. So last week we did some stenciling on the wall with the Gothic Trellis stencil from Redesign with Prima. It's one of the stencils in my designer line. It's a repeating pattern, so I think we got the center part done there. And we used a bunch of different decor waxes and the Art Alchemy metallic waxes as well. All the different purples and then some Eternal, which is the gold. So this is the mannequin, little mannequin guy that will be going right in front of this little display. And then there's going to be some wings, some neon light up wings. But before we throw those on the wall, we're going to do some decor transfers because why not? Why not? So I'm going to eventually paint this all purple. So the wall is going to be all purple, fixtures, shelves, things like that that hold the product. Because this is a display in my store, but you can do this on a wall in your home. It doesn't have to be in a store. In your home, booth, you know, on the side of a dresser, whatever. We're just stenciling and transferring, and you can do that just about anywhere. Am I right? Yes, I'm right, just about anywhere. So let's see. We're going to start with a couple of transfers. I don't know if I showed you these last week. I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. Because it was actually kind of an effort to find. I knew I had some Harlequin somewhere and I was just like searching. Finally found two of them. So we're going to use the gold Harlequin on the bottom. I think on the bottom. There she is. Yes, ma'am.
How do you turn on the lights? Downstairs.
Right here. Downstairs. She's a silly one. Uh-oh, now this is not working. But, gosh, is anything ever not a technical difficulty? This is dead now. Whew. Okay, so now that's charging, fun stuff. But anyways, we're gonna be using Harlequin. We're gonna be using the Vigorous Violet transfer. And I actually grabbed a Vintage Dream, which is another transfer that I grabbed just in case we want to sprinkle in some of those flowers. And I'll show you those in just a sec. If I can fix this silly thing on Instagram camera. Man, why is it always one of these things giving me a problem? Maybe I should use less technology and then things would stop going wrong. Okay. Hopefully that'll work. Anyway, so let's see. I showed you Harlequin, Vigorous Violet, okay? See the purples? So this wall is all about the purples. So each wall or section or vignette in the store. So like about every 8 foot or so is its own little scene. And I'm trying to stick with monochromatic colors for the whole thing, or you know, each little 8 foot scene. So I've got a blue area, a black area, or grays and blacks, purple area, and then we've got green coming next, and then who even knows on that back wall? Oh, whoops. Who even knows on the back wall? Maybe it'll be a rainbow wall, I don't know. So I definitely do know that I'm gonna be using some Vigorous Violet on the purple wall, because I mean, obviously it's purple. Why wouldn't I? Let me show you. So the reason why I put Manny in its place there is because that's where I'm going to be kind of placing these flowers around where his wings are. So they're kind of, you know, I don't know, just coming out from the wings. And I am going to be placing these transfers on the stenciling we did last week, which is Decor Wax and metallic, the Art Alchemy metallic waxes. So they are oil-based, the Decor waxes. They can be transferred over, but they need to be cured well. So you don't want to go stenciling and then transferring right over them right away. I don't even want to do it the same day. I wait at least overnight. So I did the center section last week, so we're good there, right? And then the rest of it I finished yesterday, so we're good there. We should be nice and cured, unless you go extra heavy or super thick on your stenciling with the Decor Wax. We should be good to transfer right over it. I didn't go super heavy. I just did, you know, the regular old amount, middle of the road. And then I feathered it out. Oh, feathered it out to the edges. So it's, you know, so it's like a fade, you know, of the middle of the wall, it fades out. I dig fades, I like fades. So that's part of Vigorous Violet. It's just a little one section. This is actually a transfer that has 6 sheets, so it's a big one. Most transfers have anywhere from 2 to 4 sheets. And there are some that have 6 sheets, which are the big guys. And this is one of those big guys. So we could take our transfer and with the 6 sheets, we could line it up just like that, how it is on the tube. See? Boom, 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 boom. We could line it up. But I don't know for sure if I'm going to do that or not. I don't know. Probably not, because that will make it pretty big on my wall. And I don't think I want it to take up the whole center of the wall and cover up all my stenciling. So if you can see right there, see that white text there? That's part of the background. I'm not going to be using that. Nothing against it. I just don't want it for this. So I'm going to cut out my flowers, and I'm going to cut the edges a little bit in an organic shape. So I'm not going to just plop these up there. They'll have a harsh line where, you know, part of the panel ends. And that doesn't look very natural, am I right? So what I'm going to do is, even though there's not necessarily a right or wrong or a guide to cutting and placing transfers that are, you know, basically part of a kind of puzzle piece like this, you know, the 6 of them fit together. I'm not going to use it like that. So there's no real like, this is how you do it if you don't want to match it up or line it up. So basically, you see these harsh edges here? Instead of just slapping those up there on the wall, which I could, but then I would take, you know, some other pieces, like say these little flowers kind of here, I'd cut that out. And I would probably try to put them over my harsh edge to make it look less harsh edged. So I'm probably just going to cut out clusters of flowers that look, you know, kind of natural, and, you know, try to avoid the edge where it typically lines up. But if I do, like I said, grab another flower, plop it on there, voila. So I also grabbed, as I said, I grabbed Vintage Dream, which I may, it's got some purple flowers in there, kind of. They're more like a dusty purple, see? And then there's like the lighter pink, like a blush, and then some green leaves and stuff. I don't know if I'm gonna use this one, but I usually, when I'm trying to get ready to, you know, embellish, so stencil transfer, I kind of just grab whatever I think I might use, just in case, so that if I'm kind of working on it and I get stuck and I think, oh, this needs a little blah right here, then I think, oh, look, I have that little blah right here. So it's nice and it helps with your creative juices and inspiration to have things at your fingertips. So if you've got, you know, a box of scraps, you know, random pieces of transfer left from other projects, it helps to keep them handy because sometimes I forget all the different patterns and designs that there are. So when I see them, sometimes I don't think, oh, that's what I need right there until I see it laying in a pile on the floor or something. So then I, you know, it was meant to be, you know, when I see that and it fits. So let's go ahead and grab scissors, our transfer tool. If you want a little bit of painter's tape to hold your transfer up in place if you're working on a vertical surface, you can grab some painter's tape, but I'm pretty sure I probably won't need that. Sometimes in the beginning, if it helps, even not in the beginning, but even for more advanced transferers, redesigners, it helps to tape up, you know, your parts of your transfer that you're going to use on bigger surfaces. You know, if you want to make sure you have a nice balance and everything looks good and flows. So it helps to tape them up in place to make sure that they are where you want them to be. But I like to live life on the edge, so we ain't gonna do that. Not today. Can you see most of the wall? Some of it? Probably not most of it, but we're going to start in the center right there. So that's all that we really need to see at the moment. Am I right? So starting from the middle, right over our cured Decor wax stenciling, okay? So it's not smudging. I didn't apply it super heavy or thick, so it's good to go. Okay? And I can't stress enough how important it is that it be cured if you want to transfer over it, because otherwise your transfer won't stick, will it? No, probably not. It will just stay. So I'm gonna grab my scissors somewhere and my transfer tool right here. Okay, so all of the transfers come with a little wooden stick. Most of mine have been taken out of the tubes to use for stirring paints and stirring epoxy and things like that. I like my little wooden sticks, but oh, here's one. They all come with this little wooden stick, and that is for rubbing on your transfer or burnishing, fancy word for rubbing. And it works just fine. It works great. You can also choose to upgrade and get this little plastic transfer tool. See, it's got two ends, a wider end and a less wide end, and a little hook jobby on the end for edges, corners, bevels, things like that. It helps a lot. Instead of using your fingernail, you know, you can just use the edge of this. If you're one of those people who likes to preserve your nails, I could probably do better. And then we've got this polishing pad. This is definitely optional, but I highly recommend it. When you're applying transfers, it's possible to get air bubbles trapped behind. And that's just something that sometimes happens, and it's really hard. As much as you rub and make sure you got them all popped and out and smoothed out, sometimes you can't really avoid it, especially on specific surfaces. So this is a wonder to have. Once you have it all applied and you think you have it all on and good, and peel back your backing sheet and everything's stuck, I give it a once over with my palm or my finger, depending on how big the surface is, and then I go over it with this little pad. So it's not quite as abrasive as a sandpaper or a Brillo pad or anything like that, or a scouring pad. It's a little softer, but it is just it's just enough to really kind of get rid of any of those remaining wrinkles and things like that, bubbles. The tiniest bubble or air trapped behind your transfer it could possibly cause your transfer to fail. So it doesn't take much air trapped behind that to eventually cause your transfer to fail. It could be a day, it could be a month, it could be a year, but you want to do your best to minimize the chances of that happening, or at least I know I do. So I'm going to go ahead and start with the biggest chunk. You okay? Okay. So I'm going to start with the biggest chunk of flowers from this transfer, because I want to cut, you know, cut a good chunk or cluster out of here to kind of start with and then build off of. So I'm a little more concerned with the flowers I do like the leaves and berries and all those whatnots, but I'm a little more drawn to the purple flowers because that kind of fits my theme. But of course I'm going to fit in a little bit of leaves and greenery there because you kind of have to have leaves and greenery, right? So what I'm going to do is, remember how I was saying I want an organic edge. Organic just means natural. This is not an organic edge. It's pretty harsh. So I'm going to go ahead and cut that off, making sure that, you know, I want to cut around any flowers that I want to keep or leaves or anything like that. So let's just, actually we'll start down in this corner. And we're going to go ahead and cut off that. We're going to round that out. See what I'm going for there? See how the edge of that flower is kind of cut off? I'm just going to round it out with my scissors so it looks like, oh, we're not missing any. I don't know what you're talking about. We're not missing any of that petal. Nope. Same with this little green. Looks kind of like a dandelion leaf. Am I right? We're just going to kind of make him look a little more organically shaped, or we'll get rid of him completely. No, we'll just make him little. See that? So we made him little. And then continue to cut around my big flower cluster. Okay. Oh, there's the other end of the dandelion. I'm just going to cut him off. And now anything I cut off, I'm going to keep it at least until I'm done with this project. But if it's usable for scrap or band-aid, as I like to call it, anything I can use in the future to cover up a boo-boo I may make, applying a transfer, you never know. You could have it tear or stick to itself, or occasionally there'll be a transfer with a little small area that's kind of maybe had missed the boat when it comes to adhesive, so you'll have a little pea size or dime size area that maybe won't stick. I mean, sure, you could contact customer service to get you a replacement of a whole transfer, but I'm not that patient. So I'm just going to take a Band-Aid, aka one of these scraps, and plop it right on top of that. You know, things happen, but to each her own, and I don't have patience to sit there and wait for a new one usually, you know. Time is money, and we got to keep it moving, am I right? So I'm just kind of cutting around these leaves. I'm going to keep some of them, but not all of them, because there's a lot of leaves. Remember, I mostly want these purple flowers. They are my jam. So let's see. I'm just cutting around, organic edge, and then I'm going to be left with this one little guy here. Okay, this one. Little guy here, he's got a straight line. I could cut him off so that I don't have to worry about that harsh line, but I think I'm going to be adding quite a bit more flowers, so I think I can kind of put him towards the middle, and then when I build on my cluster, I can just cover him up with maybe a more whole flower or something like that, so that it, you know, it's overlapping or underlapping, I guess you would say, with another flower. And so that way I don't have to waste that chunk, and that edge becomes no longer an issue, you know. So I'm going to figure out where I want it real quick. So I could do just about anything. Since I cut the text off, I don't have to worry about which way the text is going. Just the flowers. So I could start, you know, going upwards like this to the side. I could do it this way, but then I think some of them look kind of upside down. I mean, I don't know if that's for real or if it just looks like it to my eye, but we're going to go ahead and just kind of start. Let's start at a diagonal. If you can't pick up, can't pick sideways, let's do a diagonal, okay? So I'm going to actually very carefully peel my backing paper off, because if you peel this off too quickly or you're not paying any attention, the transfer could fly up, stick to itself, and then there's not really any bouncing back from that. You're kind of just unable to use that piece. So we're going to very carefully just keep it from sticking to itself, right? Sorry, Instagram, you got a weird view there. Okay, so we wanted to go in at a diagonal to start our cluster, and oh, let's see. I'm actually going to go here, I think, because I don't know if you can see on the wall, probably not so much, but on the wall here, remember I told you I'm going to have those neon wings, like light up neon wings. I drew where my wings are going to be, okay, in some marker. So if I drew where my wings are going to fall, I want to make sure that I'm taking into consideration where my flower placement is, because, you know, I want to know how it's going to look in the end. I want things to be balanced, and I don't want all my wing covering up all my flower and then have none kind of sticking out from behind it. So I'm going to try to kind of go nearly in the shape of the wings, but not the exact same shape of the wings. So it'll be kind of off kilter a little bit for the most part. I want it to look like it just kind of fell there in nature. You know, all the stenciling and transfers are in nature, but I don't want it to look like I forced it on the wall, or you know, I want it just to look like it belongs there. So once I get my transfer in place, now this is a textured wall, so it may not be the easiest wall that I've ever transferred, just because it's a little pebbly. It's an old plaster wall, so it's a little pebbly. Not flat by any means, so I'm gonna give it a little extra love when I'm rubbing it on here. Okay, so I wanna make sure that we can probably take this guy down for now. Yeah, take him down for now, scooch in a little bit. Take him down for now. I just wanna keep him handy so that I can consider my, you know, when I'm considering my placement. Dang it. I don't know what it is with this machine. It always does this. Okay. I'm going to have to invest in that's my brand new stabilizer for video. And for some reason, it just continues to want to shut off halfway through my videos. So I'm going to have to get another new one. A new one. Yay. Gotta love having to spend extra money on technology that loves me. Ooh, okay. So there, at least you can see, right? That's what matters. So I'm gonna just keep rubbing this on here. I just need my Instagram stabilizer to stop working and then we'll be good. Okay, so both ways, up and down, side to side. Okay, so when I think I have that rubbed on pretty well, oops, that was a boo-boo. Then I'm going to pick a spot on the edge. Don't they know to have emergencies later? All right, so I'm going to pick a spot, start peeling it up, and see how we go. It's been pretty humid here too, so I don't know. Sometimes that does not help with the adhesion so much, but we'll see. So as you're starting to peel it back, you want to make sure you go fairly slowly and make sure it's sticking. If it's not in some spots, just lay your backing paper right back down. Continue to rub. I accidentally, when I was rubbing this little petal right here, it flipped up and stuck to itself. So that's okay because it's just one little petal. We got lots more petals to put on top of it. See, that's what I was talking about the boo-boo. Remember I was saying if you mess up or it, you know, peels or cracks or sticks to itself, then you have all those scraps to just place on top of it, you know, like a boo-boo Band-Aid, right? Plop a Band-Aid on it. So I'm just gonna start peeling back slowly. And anywhere it's not sticking, give it another little rub. Just like that. Okay, and as I'm removing this, I'm just gonna take my palm and I'm gonna kind of rub it pretty firmly to try to get it on there, smooth it out, get any bubbles, wrinkles out if I can. And then you'll notice too on the edge of the transfer, there's these very faint clear lines. And that's just where the adhesive kind of extends past the color print just a little bit. And that way, you know, you kind of make sure you get all of your image, you know, in one chunk. But you'll notice them, and then you'll notice as you rub them in like this with your finger or your palm, they sort of start to disappear. Okay, and then after you seal your transfer, you'll want to use either a clear wax or a water-based poly or polyacrylic sort of sealer. You'll notice that they even further begin to disappear. And then if they're pretty prominent, some colors are a lot more prominent than other colors, but if we take that one step further and we use our little burnishing pad or a polishing pad, that's like a magic eraser for those little halos. They're just, halos be gone. That's the loving term. We call those clear lines. Halos. Sounds a little angelic, huh? Doesn't sound like a bad thing, does it? All right, so we're just going to continue on. This little spot that's not sticking quite so great. Give that a rub. Continue on our way. And we're almost there. We're almost in the home stretch of this piece. And a boom. Okay, so I'm going to take my palm and just rub right on over that a little bit more. Okay. Boom. Halos be gone, and just as a little bit of extra insurance to make sure we're on there real good, I'm going to go over it with my polishing pad. I'm pressing a little firmly. Okay, I'm not putting all of my muscle or weight into it. I'm also not just lightly, very lightly, like daintily doing it. I'm giving it a little bit of pressure because that's how bad I want it to stay. Give it some pressure. I just go in a circular motion. You don't have to. You can go like that if you want. I'm a fan of the circular motion. Boom. Okay, so now purple on purple. Purple on stencil on purple. And this is Eternal Decor Wax that has been cured. Some different purples from the Art Alchemy Metallic. Those waxes. So, you know, a little bit of all of the above. So I will go ahead and pick out my next chunk or my next little cluster or my next cluster to add on to the cluster. And then I'll show you how I place that. And then we'll move on to the next transfer design, which will be the Harlequin. I haven't used the gold Harlequin before. I haven't used the black Harlequin either. This also comes in black, okay? And we're gonna use it, I may end up cutting this up and show you where on the wall we're gonna place it, just so you can see kind of my balance and my placement and how I'm doing this whole wall. You get the idea of the rubbing it on, right? Like you get that, rub it on till it sticks, peel the backing paper away, rub it on some more, and then rub it some more, and then seal it, basically, right? So you get all that part. But the placement is a thing that I see a lot of people say they have issues with. They're not sure where to place or how to make sure it's balanced or what to do with it if it's not, you know, lined up as it is on the tube. You know, in that pattern I showed you, there was like the 6 pieces. There's also, they come in, you know, 4 pieces, 3 pieces, 2 pieces, but we'll get you all taken care of. Okay, so let me pick out my next little chunk of flowers. Ooh, here's a big one. Here's a big one. Okay, so this is the next biggest chunk. And after I get this chunk on there, I will, after I get this chunk of transfer on there, I will probably more individually place smaller clusters of flowers from here on out, just, you know, going outwards. So this is a big cluster right here. So just like we did on the last one, I'm gonna cut around, you know, these organic, make these organic shape, you know, edges out of this cluster. So let me show you real quick. Whew, I'm out of breath. So in case you can't see my marks, which you probably can't, I can barely see them and I'm right next to the thing. This is where my wings are gonna go, right here. I'm lining them up, lining them up, okay? So see how I'm kind of making sure that my flowers don't all fall underneath the wings and they don't you know, all kind of overlap each other, but just, or cover each other up. They do overlap, they don't cover each other up. So I want to do, you know, some cluster that way, some cluster this way, maybe a few loose flowers here and there, chunks here and there, just for, you know, for fun, you know, for fun. And then that's that. So I'm gonna go ahead and cut this edge, place it, and then we'll do some Harlequin in some different spots on the bottom third of this wall. So I'm not necessarily making a chair rail, or I'm not putting a mold or trim or anything like that to separate off the bottom third. So it's gonna be kind of insinuated by the Harlequin transfer on the bottom. So I'm not gonna put the Harlequin transfer all over the bottom. That's a little too much, if you ask me. But, where's my scissors? There they are. That's a little much, you know, but we can allude to the fact that there is a bottom half. Ooh, these are pretty. See these little like kind of eucalyptus guys in the greenery? I love these. I may want to cut these out separate, the green sprigs, so that once I get all my flowers on there, I can look and see where I need a sprig or two for balance. So let's see. So I'm going to go ahead and start on this edge that needs less removed here. So I'm going to cut this little green area off here with the harsh edge around that. And then this, if I'm not mistaken, this flower right there might actually be the other half of this one right here. I mean, how could I be so lucky? Oh, check it out. Look at that. I got that lucky. I wanted to do this kind of pattern or this shape, and that just so happens to line up right there with its mate. So, not often it works out like that, but if it didn't, it's okay. I would have just slapped another flower on top of it, or two. Okay, so I'm gonna cut this guy off. I'm gonna cut his stem off and leave his leaves. And then let's see. So this little leaf right there, he's kind of got a harsh edge. I'm gonna go ahead and cut him off. But his little brother here, it's the whole leaf, because I really like that leaf. I like the veins in it and everything in the greens. So I'm just gonna cut him and this little guy. Oh, I guess we could leave all this. See what happens. We can always cut it off if we don't need it. Let's see. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and cut right around here. So those little green sprigs that I like so much, I'm gonna cut those off for now. I'm definitely gonna use them, but I think they're pointing in the wrong direction of how I'm gonna want them when I'm all finished here. So I'm just gonna cut them off and put them aside. This is a fun part. It's like the chop shop, but for transfers, you know, you customize them. I guess a chop shop would not be the best analogy. The custom shop, how about that? I think chop shop implies non-legal things. We don't wanna imply that. Okay, so let's boom. Yes, yes, girl, yes. So that's the extenuation of our cluster. And then the green sprigs, my little guys here. So I'm gonna cut these free in a minute, each like individually, and then I'll kind of place them where I think I need some greenery on this. But for now, I'm just gonna plop this up with some painter's tape. Or not. Yes, I am. Just kidding, found some. So I'm gonna peel out the backing paper slowly. Remember, slow and steady wins the race, and slow and steady does not ruin your transfer. So I'm gonna just line that up with his mate, or his better half. Okay. And then I'm just gonna throw some tape on that real quick so it doesn't fly off and get ruined. Okay, so So wings, you need to see that again. Wings. Boom. So got this going here. Then we're going to take our clusters out just a little bit. Okay. We're going to spread our wings as far as flowers go and just kind of fill up this little area, you know, balance it. Okay. So now I'm going to throw up some Harlequin just so you can see where I'm going with this on the bottom half, and how you might want to use multiple transfers to get a look on, oh, a wall, the side of a dresser, the front of a dresser, an armoire, something larger that you might have a lot more space to fill. Okay, maybe you need to fill some more area, and one transfer is just not going to be quite enough. Or maybe you just want some variety. Okay, I don't think I'm going to use that entire Vigorous Violet transfer, so maybe I just want some variety. And that's the spice of life, right? So nothing wrong with that. Am I right? All right, so here we go. Sorry, Instagram. There you go. Better view? Yeah? No? All right, so Harlequin, here we come. I got my painter's tape. I got my scissors. And Harlequin, let's see. Harlequin comes in 2 sheets, okay? So 2 sheets. Remember I told you some come in 2, 3, 4. The Vigorous Violet was 6. But two sheets for Harlequin here. And just in case I grab 2 of these. Okay, so this is how long they are. I think I'm gonna say 39 inches, which is pretty tall or wide, depending on how you're looking at it. So I'm thinking the Harlequin, obviously, definitely, no doubt about it, needs to go up and down, right? And I don't think that I necessarily want to just slap it on there all the way across, right? I mean, I don't want it to look like rectangles of Harlequin. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut some kind of, I like to use the word organic, but that's the best word I can think of. Organic or not square or rectangle shapes necessarily. Like obviously I want to keep my whole diamond for, you know, one chunk. You don't have to, but I'm gonna. May sand it when I'm done to kind of scuff up the edges, may not. But we're gonna start here with this guy, and then, oh, let's cut a little bit out of the top. Save your pieces, okay? So when I just cut that off of there, I wanna try to make sure I'm careful with it so it doesn't get ruined. Because see this little scrap, this little half diamond, I'm gonna need that, I bet you. I'm gonna need that. So I don't wanna be like, toss it aside, I don't need you, because I might. Pretty sure I will. Okay, so you're gonna make sure that when you toss her aside, this backing paper is not coming off or flying off, okay? You can get you some weights and weight down each side of the paper unrolled. So put, you know, a book, or sometimes I just put the tubes on top of it lengthwise to hold it flat. Sometimes I take tape and I tape the edges or the 4 corners, or I tape it to the ground, whatever's flat. But that's just me. Excuse me. So this table, I don't know if you can see this table here, Facebook, but this table is basically in the middle of my wall. I would definitely give you a better view, but there's obstructions. I can't go back any further, but you get the idea, right? So this is basically the center of my little vignette, or my little scene here. So I'm just gonna start from the center, which is the table. Peel that back slowly. And I think I want to start over here. So I'm just going to try to measure it or line it up. Now, at this point, I would probably recommend getting a level of some sort, like a, you know, a level. Or you can take a tape measure and you can measure from the floor or the bottom of whatever to the top of the diamond. Make sure that each, you know, at least every other one is the same height. That way you know it's straight. But we're gonna go ahead and guess Mama's not gonna do that because I'm a little crazy and I like to eyeball it. So I'm gonna kind of just stick it lightly in place there. Okay, I'm not gonna commit fully. Just gonna kind of lightly stick it. I'm gonna step back and I think, does that look like it's level? Sure. Sure does. Sure does to me. If not, we'll go for the funhouse vibes, right? The circus vibes. So that's gonna go there. And then remember that little piece that I didn't want to cast away to the side? That can go right here. Because I want to finish out my diamond. So he's gonna go right there when I'm done. So I don't want to lose him. I'm gonna keep him right here. And then, so I've got chunks starting out here. Now, since they will line up and down, side to side, I can add on to my diamond background this way, this way, this way, whatever way I want. I'm probably gonna finish out these diamonds, and then I'm gonna do a little bit more in the bottom corner. And then over here on the other side, let's see. I'm thinking I better do some that extend kind of like right here a little bit. So that is where I want that. I'm gonna probably tape it in place. If I can find my tape. I always set stuff down and I don't, there it is. I'm just gonna tape that piece there. Rub this on too. Boom, that's not going anywhere. I'm committed now. So this right here, this line right here, the top of these diamonds kind of creates, that's my implied lower half, or my implied kind of bottom section where there would be like a chair rail or molding of some sort normally. So from this is the fun part when I get to start puzzling in pieces of my diamond or whatever pattern you want to use. So from this point, I just get to take, you know, let's just say we want to add a couple here, maybe. Okay, maybe add a few there. I can even just cut them off in like rows or little columns or chunks and just start placing them wherever I want. Obviously, I'm going to try to line them up. That makes sense, but wherever I want. So something like this. And see those grid lines on the back of the transfer? Those are there to help you line up. So if I want to take this and use a straight edge to, you know, make sure I'm going through the center of my diamonds over here, make sure that's all lined up, I could do that. But I'm not. I'm going to eyeball it. Okay, so now I just get to cut and place wherever mama feels like it. So that's what I'm going to do. But anyways, I'm not going to do it, like I said, all over the entire bottom half. That's too much pattern for me. I'm not that predictable. No way. So maybe something down here like that. You know, I don't know. Whatever I want. Like that maybe? Like that? That? So I just get to pick and choose and play and see where things make sense and where I like them. What feels balanced to me, what feels like natural, you know, to me, or like it goes with my theme or the look that I'm going for. Okay. And there we go. So I'll do that, you know, randomly throughout the bottom part of my whole wall. Oh God, this table won't move. I'm trying to move this table. Oh, there. Now maybe I can scooch it back a little bit. Okay, so see? So there's the upper, finish out our flowers, put our wings. There's our harlequin. We're gonna do some patches down here in this corner and maybe down there in the other corner as well. So I'll give you a little, see, this is what I'm talking about on Instagram. Down in this corner, we'll do some more. Down in this other corner, we'll do a little bit more, and then probably call it a day. Then I'll seal it with some probably flat sealer or matte sealer, water-based, polyacrylic type, because it is a textured wall. So that means the chances of getting some air bubbles stuck and trapped behind my transfer, pretty good chance. And I don't want to ruin my wall. I don't want it to start cracking and peeling. Not after I worked so hard on it. So we're just gonna seal it and make sure it lasts. Yep, and that's about it. So you got to see some layering of the transfers with Decor wax stenciling. That is cured. Okay, that's the kicker. You got to make sure it's cured. It's possible. Yes, it is. But give it time to cure before you try to do so, or else you'll be not so good. No, not so good. Anyway, so I'm going to go ahead and sign off of Instagram. And, well, that's a cute thumbnail. Always with the cute thumbnails. Anyways, so I will go through and see if there was any questions that didn't get answered, but otherwise, I'll see you next Thursday right here on the Redesign with Prima Facebook page. And have a great weekend. Bye.